What's going on, guys? Alex here with 814 EDC, and today I'm ready to do my full review on the Kizer Knives Bulldog. This is, of course, part of the Lefty passaround group. So huge shout out to Kevin, as always, for providing dope stuff for us. And this is part of the big, 5-knife Kizer package. So if you caught yesterday's video, I did my full review on the Assassin, which I really liked. It scored pretty high, which is a little bit surprising, but I really enjoyed this knife. And then I'm going to do, of course, the Bulldog today. And then you guys will see the Infinity helmet and Crocodile later this week. But yeah, the Bulldog is definitely an interesting knife. I was excited to check it out because I had seen and heard a lot of interesting stuff around it, floating around the EDC world. And I'm not going to say that it disappointed me because I do like the knife. It just didn't, I feel like, live up to, the hype that I had heard about it. And it just didn't really give me those types of feelings towards it. It's still a great knife, and I think it's, in the right hands of the person who really can just appreciate it. I think it's a really good knife. It's just not for me, but I did enjoy getting to check it out. So without further ado, we're going to jump right into the video, going over and talking about the Bulldog. So yeah, first off, you guys know the deal. We're going to talk about materials. This is rocking some aluminum scales with this kind of diamond plate texture to it. It feels really good in the hand. I really like the milling and the grip it has going on there. Just kind of is like a fun little texture to your fingers. I really like that. But you got the black aluminum with the milling. You have pink accents everywhere, which is different. It's not really for me. You have a loop rubber style deep carry clip that is countersunk into the scale, which is really nice with flathead screws. I like how they did that. And it is, of course, reversible. You got pink accents everywhere with the pink thumb studs, pink pivot, pink clip, and pink backspacer. This is rocking the clutch lock, which you guys all know and love. This is coming in with 154 cm. It says right there. My phone will focus. Kizer. This is an O show design, I believe. I'm not super familiar with him, but you have this funky kind of cleaver style blade. You got jimping right here, out here, and underneath, which is very interesting. I've never really seen that before. As for internal milling, there are, looks like 3 pockets on each side, as well as where the springs go in. So yeah, I mean, 154 cm, black aluminum, pink, pink hardware. Not for me, but I can definitely, appreciate it every once in a while. So you guys know the deal. It has to have some pretty shitty materials for me to give it anything other than a 5. So we're going to go 5 on the materials. Some quick specs for you guys before we move on. The overall length from tip to butt is 7.22 inches. Like I said, it is an O show. That is an O period SHO, excuse me. Design. The blade style is a sheep's foot, but again, I see kind of a cleaver style. I see a little bit of a sheep's foot in there, but it is what it is. The blade length is 3 inches, blade thickness of 0.11. That is a theme of all these Kizers, in my opinion, that I've had in so far for this review. All 5 of them have really thin blade stocks and thin blades, which is awesome. 154 cm on the blade, like I said. A handle length, so closed length of 4.22 inches. Comes in weighing just over 4 ounces at 4.01. And yeah, that's all for the materials. So before we move on, there is one other variation in this knife. You have a green micarta or national micarta with a satin 154 cm blade, excuse me. Those are the only 2. You got this one and that one. And I will leave a link to them down below to White Mountain Knives. The micarta one is sold out, but the aluminum one is currently in stock, which is nice. So if you guys are interested, definitely go check them out there and use someone's code for 10% off of your order, as always. And next up, we're going to talk about aesthetic. And that is the one kind of big thing with this knife that I don't really like. I think it looks kind of goofy. You have a curvature on the handle right there. The blade is just not my cup of tea. This whole design is just not my cup of tea. But like I said before with knives, that I really just don't like how they look. That doesn't mean that I can't appreciate them for what they are. But if I'm being honest, I just got to be honest with my reviews and, you know, I don't think this knife looks good. You know, that was my first thoughts from the beginning. I was not a big fan of how this knife looks whatsoever. It's just not my cup of tea. Like this, you know, like I said, 17 minutes ago, 17 times ago. I don't know. I don't want to give it too harsh of a rating because I know, you know, people, you know, are different on things. But to me, this is a 3.5. I really, you know, don't give too many 3.5s out. I don't know. I think it might be a little bit ugly. And I'm sorry for saying that, but again, I have to be honest, and I think that this is worthy of being a 3.5 with the aesthetic. You know, it is what it is. But next up is action. And the action on this is good. The detent is tuned nicely. Not the detent, but the springs are tuned nicely. I'm assuming that this is on the tightest spring setting or the best, you know, detent setting when it comes to the springs. You got dual thumb studs. Normally I would say fires out. You just kind of have to get underneath it. It is a little bit sort of pushed out farther than where thumb studs are, so it does take a little bit of time to get used to it. But I mean, it fires right out. Clean and crisp on the break. Reverse flick works really good. You guys can see it's fun to fidget with. But the one kind of complaint I have is I just feel like the lock bar, when you go to pull back, it's like really stiff. And I don't know, there's just something about it. Like the Assassin is just so easy to drop back and pull down on the clutch lock. Really, really easy. But when you use it on the Bulldog, it just feels almost like stiff. And that kind of tires your fingers out from fidgeting with this knife a whole lot. Because you just don't want to sit there and do it very often because it's going to tire your fingers out. But whenever you do pull it back, you guys can see it drops right home. You know, functions great. Great, again, detent, reverse flick, thumb flick, and of course, slow roll. And it drops whenever you pull it back very, very well. You can do the sort of wrist thing, you know, that a lot of people like to do. But that stiff lock bar is just kind of hold me back from it being a, you know, perfect 5 out of 5. So we're going to go 4.5 on the action. I just, you know, don't think it's worthy of it being a 5. So we're going to go with that. Next up is acoustics. Really nice thunder out right there. The thumb flick is just really, really good. But the rest, reverse flick. I mean, it's a good sounding knife. Close. It's just not like amazing in my opinion. Like it's good, but it's not amazing. You know, aluminum is kind of hit or miss with the acoustics, I feel like, with it helping it or dampening it. I feel like if it maybe, there is some internal milling, but maybe some more internal milling would have helped it. But I mean, you get a really nice thwack, a really nice thunder out. I just don't think, I mean, it's good, but it's not, that thumb flick is quite good, actually. So I think I was going to give it a 4, but I'm going to give it a 4.5. That thumb flick is really saving it. It just sounds so good, so menacing. So we'll go 4.5 on the acoustics, which is pretty high. But next up is Ergos, and that is one, you know, absolute 5 out of 5. I'm just going to jot it down now. I think that this is a really, really good sounding, it does sound really good, but this is a great knife to have in the hand. You just get, I mean, you know, you just want to choke up with this knife. You can, of course, you know, sort of choke back, and I can still get all 4 fingers in the knife, and it's very, very comfortable. The aluminum has that diamond plate sort of milling to it that I mentioned earlier. Feels really good in the hand. It adds that nice amount of grip and that nice amount of texture to it without being overly aggressive and like ripping up your fingers, which I can really, really appreciate. Feels really, really good. But you just get this, you know, funky looking handle. But a lot of times when you get a funky looking handle, it can be very, very comfortable. One example is the Kubi, I forget what this is called, but I got it in with the random package that I had in, I think, last week. You guys will be seeing the full review of it on the next upcoming week. But you get a really funky, and that's, sorry to bring in another knife for this review, but you get a really funky looking handle. I mean, you kind of have a curvature, you have like grooves right in here, but this knife fits in the hand so well. And that is exactly how I feel with the Bulldog. Funky looking handles produce great ergonomic experiences, and I will always stand by that. And I've had so many, so many experiences with it like that. But just fits in the hand really well. You get jimping all over. I mean, you get jimping up here on the ramp, you get jimping on the downward area of the ramp, you get jimping out here, and then you get jimping on the bottom, which is really, really nice. I have not seen that, I don't think, before on specific blades. Excuse me. But yeah, choke back, it can fit in the hand, all four fingers very easily. The clip is of course, loop over style deep carry clip, but it's not causing hot spots. It's not, it's really nice. And although you are a little bit proud of the knife, not causing an issue whatsoever. But the real winner is when you slide fully up into this choil area, your pointer finger gets the added benefit of that jimping. Your thumb can either land back here on the ramp, you can land up here in the middle of the ramp, which is kind of my, sweet spot. Or if you're doing sort of, I feel like this is a really good knife for chopping vegetables. You get jimping out here for your pointer finger for added control, which is really, really nice. You get a thin, slicey blade. The ergos are on point with this, and I feel like that's what the designer was kind of going with. Very, very comfortable. Love the aluminum, love the milling. That is a, spot on 5. My favorite part of this knife is how comfortable it is in hand, and, all the different ways to hold it, to manipulate it, and the added jimping that you have with it. So again, very, very high 5 on the ergos. That leads me to my second to last category, which is carry. It comes in weighing just 4 ounces, but honestly, it has like that a good amount of weight to it. It feels really comfortable in hand. Feels like it has a good substantial, weight to it. It feels comfortable. It feels like you can throw some use at it, which is really nice. And I mean, it's a little bit wider, which is okay. I mean, I've carried blades like this before. Doesn't really have an issue with it. It's just the way the knife is just curved. So when you have the knife sitting straight down in your pocket, you have the knife curving into like your, the wall of your jeans, which, I didn't have an issue with, but sometimes people might. But having a reversible pocket clip is really, really nice. Loop over style is fantastic. It sits nice and deep, almost deeper than the blade or the handle, excuse me. Don't love the pink pocket clip, but I'm just not a huge pink fan, of course. But sits out in your pocket really nice. You have no issues right here. You have, a little bit of jimping up top, but I mean, if it's sitting like this, you have it curved away. If you have to come down beside it to get anything, no flipper tab, no jimping, anything like that. Everything's rounded off. And I didn't carry this a ton, if I'm being completely honest. I've carried it, a few times to get my wits about it, to get my opinions formed on it. But I mean, really, there's no true complaints about it. You have a nice reversible clip, it carries well. So I'm going to go 5. I don't want to, harp on the knife too much, but I do think that, 5 out of 5 is pretty comparable, pretty easily, achieved here. But did I skip on one? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, no. So that leads me to my final category of price point / value / would I recommend this knife. The price point on the Kizer Bulldog is $71. You can also go for the micarta version for $62, but I think 71, we'll say $70 before someone's code, which if you use someone's code, get you down into the 60s. I think $70 is a fair price for this. I mean, you're getting really nice aluminum with one of the better milled patterns I think I felt on a Kizer knife. You're getting 154 cm, a very peculiar but usable blade shape. You're getting, a loop over style deep carry reversible clip. Really nice action on the clutch lock. I mean, I think that's a fair price for $70. I can see this costing $100 plus. I think Kizer, has a good value here. Can I recommend it? I'll tell you this. It's really well made. The action is pretty good except for just having a stiff lock bar. If you're looking for something that is super ergonomic, super comfortable, and I feel like this is a really good food prep knife. If you like the way this knife looks, then yes, I can recommend it to you. You just have to have the taste for, the aesthetic of this knife and how this knife, looks in hand, but it feels great in hand. Though I do think it's a good value. Can I recommend it to everybody? No, but I can recommend it to the people that like the way this knife looks, and I think that's just where you have to leave it at. And I think that's just, you know, how a lot of knives are, which is kind of common sense, but, you know, sometimes you just got to add that in there. But I think it's a great value, so I think for that reason I'm gonna go 5. You know, it's not for everybody. It's not everyone's cup of tea. I've used that term like 6 times in this video now, so I do apologize, but I don't think it's everyone's cup of tea. But if you are a fan of how this knife looks, then I think it could be your cup of tea. So we'll go 5 on value and price point. So let me count this up here real quick. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 9. All right, so this did score better than I thought it was going to. It still lands it in the fantastic category, right? Yeah, 1.5. No, did I not do my math correctly? Sorry. And it still lands it in the fantastic category. It's just scraping in. I got the Bulldog landing with a 32.5, which lands it in right with the Kizer Comet, right with the Kizer Dogfish, right in that, just scraping into the fantastic category, but nonetheless, still fantastic. And really the biggest thing for me was just how this knife looks. I feel like it just, you know, not my cup of tea, but for those of you out there that like the way this knife looks, then I can absolutely recommend it. Such a good ergonomic experience, and you know, you're getting that clutch lock, you're getting a lot of the good things that Kizer tends to offer for a good value, good price point, about $70. So yeah, 32.5, very fitting in my opinion for it. And yeah, leave a comment down below. Did any of you guys pick up the aluminum version? Did any of you guys pick up the micarta version? You know, do you guys like using it? Do any of you guys out there use this for a food prep knife? Because in my opinion, in my head, that's what I see this knife as. But yeah, leave a comment down below. Leave me all the details. You guys know I love to hear what you guys have to say. But I'm going to wrap this up now. So this was my full review on the Kizer Knives Bulldog. As always, thank you to you guys. Thank you to Kevin over at Lefty EDC for always providing cool stuff to check out. And yeah, I'm going to wrap this up now. So thank you guys again so much for watching. I really appreciate each and every single one of you guys. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your morning, evening, night, day, weekend, year, month, whenever you guys are watching this. I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Peace.